When it comes to doing paper reviews, they're difficult to do. And it's like ink reviews are difficult. Many people don't do them. Paper reviews, I think, are a little bit more difficult. Here, we're going to see where I'm trying a new format where I think it's really going to give us a good showing of what a paper is going to do. Hi, an ink guy here, except this time we're looking at paper. So I'm your paper pal. Now, we're going to be taking a look at Muji planted tree notebooks. Now, this video comes at the request of a viewer who says, I'd like to get your opinion on Fuji planted tree notebooks. Also, a compendium of all your paper reviews. I know that one is a heavy lift. Now, I'm going to tell you, there is a playlist that I'll go ahead and link that is where I put my paper reviews. Then it says, DM me and they'll mail me the Muji. Now, I thought that Fuji at the top was a typo. It was, not a big deal. So, Mike, here's the thing. I got a hold of that paper and we're going to take a look at it today. The Muji Planting Tree Notebook is a simple double ring notebook. The rings allow you to flip the cover over completely and right from any orientation. This item is a part of the Muji Afforestation effort, allowing communities to directly choose and benefit from the trees they cultivate. At least that's what Google says. Looking at the notebook, you see that it does have that double ring, and oops, I sat on it. I sat on it, and I bent the ring. Don't tell Mike. Now, when I bought this was supposed to be a very affordable option, and in fact it was, but I bought a 6-pack of them mistakenly. So it actually is a very affordable paper, which is the reason that we're truly looking at it. This was going to allow you to write on it as a normal or a sideways notebook. Looking at the pages inside, they are not perforated, which really is my preference. If I truly want the page gone, I'm sure I can take the little bits out there. I'd rather not have that little piece of paper that's left over. Looking at the backs of those pages, you can see that there's no problem when it comes to bleeding or ghosting. Now, this was being done where I was trying a few different ways to try and do this review, and I hadn't quite settled on it yet. So there's a number of pages that I'd written on, and I never had any kind of problems for bleeding or ghosting. Let's compare the writing that occurs on the front of the page because, let's face it, we care about what we write. First, noticeably, this is not a true white paper. It's a cream color paper. It's not even trying to be true white. So that's not any kind of problem at all. We're going to take a look at Eternal compared to Eternal, looking at this side by side with Clairefontaine. Now, this top writing that we have here, this is a medium flow fine nib. We get no feathering, no spreading, no kind of problem whatsoever. The color holds without any sort of issue. Now, if we go and work our way to a wet fine nib, looking at Eternal and Eternal again, you see that there's no feather and no spread. The color holds. This is not a shading ink. This is just being done to be able to see how it's doing, how well it held up against a punishing wet nib. A medium flow, a medium nib, we do see that, well, this is not particularly. This started to run dry on me, which had me wondering what's going on. I did a few different writing samples at the time. We do see that I wound up priming it, and it got much darker. But regardless, we see that I'm going to say the color holds. We see two different colors. This is right after priming. This is before priming. The before priming, I was noticing it was getting a little drier, and it is a little lighter in tone. I'm not going to blame the paper. There's no feathering. There's no spread. There is good performance. As it got lighter, it showed the pink undertones that ink did have. When we moved on to the very punishing wet broad nib, we see that the colors are the same, despite having that cream color, but that's a function of the ink. There's no feathering, no spread, which is awesome because this is an extremely wet broad, and it does have some shading, though the shading that shows up is not as pronounced as it is on the Clairefontaine. Again, though, the Clairefontaine is a coated paper and this is not. If you have a video you'd like to see or a paper you'd like to see reviewed, then please let me know down in the comments and I may work to get my way through it.